How would you feel if a loved one got taken away from you earlier than expected? Especially if it wasn't an accident and you had to stare at the person responsible for your loved one's death in a courtroom. What kind of a sentence would you want that person to get? If they are under 18, they are classified as a juvenile. Even so, does that mean they should be tried as a juvenile or as an adult? If they get tried as a juvenile, they'll have a short sentence and they will be out by the time they are 21. Does that sort of a sentence seem like it is going to make that person change their ways? Because I don't think so. Juveniles should be tried as an adult because they know what they are doing, they are a threat to society, and they are responsible for their actions. Juveniles should be tried as adults. First, age is just a number. Teenagers are almost adults and know the difference between right and wrong. First, juveniles know what they are doing. Teenagers are old enough to make their own decisions. Most of them have jobs and are completely responsible for themselves. They get themselves up and where they need to be on time every day. The juveniles know exactly what they do each and every single day. When they decide to rape a child or commit a murder, they know exactly what they are doing. Do you think giving these murderers and rapists a short sentence is going to teach them a lesson? America needs to cut down on juvenile crime by sending teens a message that America does not approve of these crimes. According to WBUR News, juvenile crime rates are growing rapidly since the 90s. Americans believe that there needs to be some laws put in place to do something about it. The laws nowadays are juveniles can be tried as adults for serious federal crimes. However, people say that juveniles' brains are not developed fully enough to know exactly what they are doing. However, I disagree. They also say that kids are more likely to be risk takers than adults, and that is why they do the things they do. However, I do not see that as an excuse. These kids definitely know what they are doing. Kids these days have access to almost anything through their cell phones and through the internet. Almost every single teenager has seen a violent movie and sees what kind of a punishment that these people get for doing these crimes. These kids have learned enough about violence to know exactly what they are doing. Juveniles know what they are doing. They may not be the age 18, the age of an adult, but they should know the difference between right and wrong. There has been a continual increase in teen violence. When are they going to learn their lesson? My second main point is that juveniles are a threat to society. According to ABC News, juveniles commit 10% of all homicides. Every year, the FBI arrests 33,000 kids under the age 18 just for these offenses. Also, juvenile murder offenses increase by 30% each year. Do we want 33,000 murderers walking around America at the age of 21 because they got tried as a juvenile and got a short sentence? I don't. These kids are a threat to our society and need to be locked up long enough to realize what they did was wrong. They need to be in there long enough to learn a lesson and come out with a better mindset. No one ever really wants a loved one to go locked away forever, but what if it's for his or her own good? These kids are dangerous and could even be a threat to their own family. These kids need time away from everyone and to hopefully learn that what they did was wrong. With a short sentence, they could just pick up where they left off. We don't know what these kids are capable of, but do we really want to find out? I don't. I believe juveniles need to be tried as adults. These juveniles are a threat to society. If we just let them out early, they could maybe even commit a harsher, worse crime than the one that they did before. They might even hurt their own family. We have now discussed juveniles and how they are a threat to society. Let's now discuss how juveniles are responsible for their own actions. My third main point is that juveniles are responsible for their own actions. When you become a teenager, your parents give you a lot more freedom. Well, with that freedom comes a great deal of responsibility. As a child, you have learned that every action has a consequence. So when you commit a serious crime, why should you not get a serious consequence? If you did the crime, you can do the time. Aiming a gun at someone and killing him or her is considered a serious federal crime. Therefore, it should come with a serious consequence. You are responsible enough to know what you are doing. You should not get to take the easy way out. You deserve a long, harsh punishment to think about what you did. Serious federal crimes are known as adult crimes. An example of an adult crime is killing or raping someone. Juveniles are not adults, however, they do commit adult crimes. When a teenager commits an adult crime, they deserve to do an adult time. An 18-year-old who is not much older than these juveniles gets a longer sentence for the same thing they did. However, the juvenile gets a shorter sentence just because they are under the age 18. Is that fair? Because I don't think so. The juvenile is definitely not going to learn their lesson in that short amount of time. Isn't that why we lock people up and put them away? To keep them away from society and to try to make them into a better person? Just because legally you're not an adult doesn't mean you should not get tried as an adult. If you can do the crime, you can do the time. These juveniles are responsible for their own actions. When a juvenile commits an adult-like crime, they deserve to be treated like an adult and do adult-like time in prison. We have discussed 3 reasons why a juvenile should be tried as an adult. But what can we do about it? Juvenile crime rates are growing and growing. Are we going to let it continue? Do we want these growing crime rates to influence more juveniles to commit these serious crimes? Do we want juveniles getting out on short sentences and walking around on the streets that we live on every day? No. America's justice system needs to do a lot more about this issue. We need to put these juveniles away longer and give them harsher sentences. These kids deserve a longer sentence in doing adult time for doing an adult crime. We do not want these kids maybe serving maybe a 3-year sentence and walking around on the streets and getting into more trouble. Our courts need to realize that these kids are just as dangerous as adults and they deserve everything that they get. We must push for more juveniles to be tried as adults so America is a better, safer place. We need to remember that juveniles should be tried as adults because they know what they are doing, they're a threat to society, and they are responsible for their actions.